4-leaf clover on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for they play football the Celtic way, with the 4-leaf clover on my breast, and the green and white upon my chest. It's such a joy for us to see, for they play football the Celtic way, for they play football.
Good
Happy
evening.
Friday.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on?
All good, yeah. Happy Friday, everybody.
Good. Andy,
Good,
how
mate.
has your couple of days been, mate, since we've been on Wednesday night, my pal?
Nightmare, mate. Nightmare, but I'm home now, so I'm glad that week's done, mate. Looking forward to tonight. Our first real Friday focus on the 4-Leaf Clover podcast, so really good to be back on a Friday, actually. I do enjoy a Friday. And the full team's on, so we've got a lot to get through. The game tomorrow as well, so I'm going to the game tomorrow. I won't be sitting in my truck watching a game. You might be sitting in your couch watching the game, Scotty, but you know, you live in Spain, and it's very hard for you to have a season ticket, my man. And I don't have a season ticket, so I just grab a ticket whenever I get one, jump out my truck, and actually go to the game. So unfortunately, I won't be able to jump on the post-match tomorrow because I'll be at the game. So
I'll be still on my couch, unfortunately, but
Aye.
I'll be cheering on. I'll be cheering on for Saints, mate.
You're only half a fan if you do that, mate.
I know, mate. I know. And Paddy, how has your couple of days been, mate, since we were last on Wednesday, my good man?
Aye, good, Scotty. Aye, just busy as usual at work, and got finished up the day nice and early. Home for the night, so try to get a few hours tonight. We're away early in the morning, so I'm for the game too. So we'll be on the road early tomorrow morning. So,
aye, good man. And Jerry, we're talking in the green room, mate. You're going to have a struggle getting to the game tomorrow with these wins that are about to hit Scotland, obviously with the scaffolding business. You're not just on here talking about Celtic, but you're looking for punters to come and get a horn tomorrow to tie that scaffolding in, mate.
Maybe, aye. I'll have to go tomorrow. So I think the bad weather's coming in on Sunday, innit? So I'll need to. I might be missing the game tomorrow. I'll see. All my cousins they're chatting my door now for my ticket. They're all heading down the now to try and get my ticket. But hopefully I make it, mate. Hopefully I make it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the game, a cracking game.
If no, you can jump on. You can jump on the post match with me tomorrow, mate. If no, so ladies and gentlemen, as Andy said, this is our first ever Friday night show. This is our maiden Friday night show, and what we're going to do is we've called it a Friday Focus show. What we're going to do is we're going to jump on every Friday and cover the upcoming game for that weekend. But a couple of things have happened between Wednesday and tonight that we're going to cover as well. And gentlemen, the first thing that we're going to cover is a former player has retired. Probably for me, one of the best players to come out off the conveyor belt of the Celtic youth system. And it was 38-year-old Aiden McGeady. Now, before we get into it, I've got a couple of little statements that our Aiden has come out with over the past couple of days. After much thought and consideration, I've decided to announce my retirement from professional football. Football has given me so much, and getting to play the game I loved at the top level is the stuff dreams are made of. I truly live that dream every day on the pitch. There are so many memories, too many to mention, but getting to pull on the famous green and white jersey, the team I supported, was extremely special. Playing in the Champions League and the individual honours I received in front of those amazing fans are some of the most memorable moments of my life. I've been lucky enough to play for so many great teams in England, Scotland, Russia. Brilliant memories at the best clubs. I will never forget the magical times of representing Ireland for 13 years and getting to the Euros in the process. I've made lifelong friends in football, played with some world-class teammates along the way. I'd like to thank all the managers, coaching staff and backroom staff that have helped guide me through the good and the bad times from the start of my career to the very end of it. Thank you all for the support. Andy, Aiden McGeady, give us your memories of him, and where do you rate him in the top 5, top 10, where do you rate him as youth players coming through that conveyor belt at Lennoxtown?
I think he's got to be up there with the best. Scotty, when it comes to skill-wise and all that. I know a lot of people can look at, obviously, you've got Cal Mack, James Forrest and that have come through the ranks and been with Celtic for so long and won so many honours. But as it comes, if we're talking about talent-wise, then it's actually hard to beat anybody that's come through in that time span that's more skillful than him. I knew Aiden when he was a lot younger, through marriage and stuff. And anytime I seen him, he was always wanting to go out and play football and stuff like that, rather than sit and play on a computer. He was always wanting to go out and play with a ball. I never knew him really, really well, but I knew him, and any time he always wanted a ball at his feet. And obviously, the years before that, we've all seen footage of Aiden when he was just a wee man and just absolutely just scalping everybody he was up against. They couldn't get a ball off him. A lot of people have got a lot of criticism on him that even as an adult they couldn't get a ball off him either because he wouldn't release it, But I think I think any good player's going to have wee faults and stuff. And I think people have looked at him that the fact that he's left Celtic and went to Russia. By the way, Celtic sold him, I know. It's not as if he's, been desperate to get away. I think they got an offer for him. They couldn't refuse it. It was a lot of money at that time. And probably still is now when you consider it for a homegrown player. He's took that opportunity and he's went away to make lots of money. Probably took a lot of experience for that as well. Pretty unfancied move to go to Russia. A big step to go and learn that language there as well. And then obviously went back to England, played a wee bit down there. But I think overall his time at Celtic, I think he'll be fondly remembered. He's a Celtic fan that's got that opportunity to pull on that jersey. And done pretty well in the performances. I think you can see more good for Aiden than bad. I think the good outweigh the bad. Aiden, I know there's people that have got feelings towards him, and totally understandable. Everybody's got their opinion. I think he's got to be up there with one of the best we've produced, if not the best, in let's say the last 20 years or so.
Aye, nice words there, Andy, and well put. Aye, definitely, he's up there for me, without a shadow of a doubt, in the top 5. And I think it's something that we've struggled over the past sort of 5 years, especially, is bringing players off that conveyor belt. I mean, you think of your Cal Macks, your Kieran Tierney's, your James Forrest, your Sean Maloney's, maybe, it's sort of in that ilk as well that came through. We've not really seen players since these lads come off that conveyor belt. And Paddy, give us your overall thoughts and McGeady, and where is there any games in particular that stick out for you? And, would you put them in that sort of top 5 as well, of players in the last 20 years that's came off that conveyor belt at Celtic?
Aye, much the same as Andy. I think the best way to look at it is if you could look at, maybe not look at is he the best, but look at was there anybody better? And I would think there are very few to come through from the youth setup. Something we get a lot of criticism for, but my memories of Aiden McGeady were, just a young lad breaking into the team with loads of potential, and he seemed to have a wee bit of everything, seemed to have all the tricks, and really skillful wee player. For me, overall, I always thought his final ball sometimes let him down. He could have done better with the final ball. Just if he'd had a killer final pass, I think he would have been genuinely world class. He had everything else, but that just sometimes the final ball just let him down. But cracking wee player, absolutely brilliant wee player. I think one of the other things that didn't, I think once he declared for Ireland, it sort of put a target on his back, especially playing in Scotland. Yeah. Didn't make it easy for him, and a lot of people don't realise that, that he was similar to Neil Lennon. He ended up dealing with all that baggage that goes along with that, and that's not easy either. So he took stick up and down the country, all over Scotland because he declared for Ireland, and but no, cracking wee player. Again, he kind of, if he crossed swords with a few, he crossed swords with Lennon, he crossed swords with Gordon Strachan as well. So he didn't have it easy. It wasn't always easy and smooth, for him. So I think Aiden would be a prime candidate for a book. I would love to read it. I would love to read his, his thoughts and his memories about his career, and just, maybe go a wee bit deeper into those, some of those things that we heard about that happened and stuff like that, to get his side of it. But the one thing I will say about him is he never resorted to rubbishing anybody, or he never came out in the press and slated Lennon or Strachan or anybody else. He kept his counsel. Nice wee lad, we'll say. We met him a couple of times again, just when we were outside the stadium. Very, very, very well mannered, very well accommodating lad. A brilliant wee player for Ireland. He was very, very popular during, when the Irish set up and stuff. So I liked him, and definitely, as I said to you, probably the best way to look at it is to probably see, is there, if you could you name me a couple of players or one player that stands out that's any better. You're probably looking at Tierney, or maybe McGregor or something like that. That's the only guys you'd probably be looking at that have come through that are any better than him. So for me, he would definitely warrant a place in the top 5.
Scott, just touching on what Paddy said there about his international career. I think he had like 93 caps or something like that. So he had some amount of caps.
Yeah.
Aye, it's pretty good going.
Aye, and certainly. And just touching on, Jerry, what Paddy said there, it couldn't have been easy for a young guy, as Paddy touched on there. Neil Lennon had it, but so did he. At every away ground he went to, he was getting booed and all the rest of it, just because of the country he picked, and he didn't see it as an issue. But again, the fickleness of Scottish football, some people do. And just gauge your overall thoughts on it, mate. Is there a game that sticks out for you? And just share us your memories of Aiden McGeady on his retirement.
I thought McGeady was one of the best talented players I've seen. We on the Celtic ship in my time. Boy, bags of talent, so he did. He done that flick. When we used to do that flick all the time. Thought he was a class player. Listen, he would have some talent and some drive to get into Martin O'Neill's teams. Because he got in there at 18-year-old against Hearts, Scott. And listen, he done well under Martin O'Neill, but let's be honest, it just happens in football. He just didn't go in with Gordon Strachan. Yeah. I think, as Andy says, when Strachan and him not getting on, I think it was a bit of both Celtic and the money Geedy was going to earn. Because I still think he should never have picked Spartak Moscow. I think it was a bad move from him. I think there was a lot of clubs interested in him, so surprised he went to Russia, to be fair. But the 9.5 million, and he probably had cranking wages as well. So I think that was part of it. So I think it suited both parties at the time. But Geedy, 93 caps for Ireland as well, then on to Everton, Sunderland, then back to Scotland. The boy was just a talented guy. So he was. Cranking football, so he was.
Yeah.
But I think after a certain time, I think he's only played something 32 games in the last 2 to 3 years. I think the injuries and stuff. And that's 38 years of age. He's had a good career. So he has.
Aye. He was a cracking player for us. There's no doubt about it, and one of the top talents to come off that conveyor belt for sure. Let's have a quick look at his stats, then, gents, that I've found. 250 games for Celtic, 198 starts, 37 goals, 90 assists. He went on to another level altogether in his final 3 seasons with us. 51 games, 8 goals, 24 assists. 40 games, 7 goals and 16 assists in 08-09. And in 09-10, 50 games, 7 goals and 22 assists. So just for every day at the 4 Leaf Clover podcast, Aiden, and all the viewers, all the best in your retirement. And we hope to see you at Celtic Park again soon. So, gentlemen, the next thing I want to move on to is I watched Brendan Rodgers' press conference today. And young Bernardo was on before him as well. So I had a look at both of the interviews, and they were quite telling. He got asked about his meeting with Kieran Tierney down at the Celtic FC Foundation night down in London, and he was sort of glossed over that one. I think we all would like to see Kieran back at Celtic, and hopefully that does happen with the Greg Taylor situation, with the contract running out and stuff like that. It would be lovely to see Keity back. But probably the most controversial thing that Brendan spoke about and was asked about was the pyrotechnics and the fireworks at recent Celtic Champions League game. So here's what he said, lads, and we'll get your thoughts on it as well. So I don't see the need for the pyrotechnics. We've got a great support. The support that we get at home and away is absolutely incredible. We can't let that type of behaviour dictate whether fans can maybe be in the position of not attending a game, because that's not fair. It's not right. People that have followed Celtic home and away for years and years and years should never be getting banned. As I said, the support we get is incredible, and it's not something we need. We're not a club that needs to ignite the supporters' base. He then went on to say, I hope that this does not end. I hope that doesn't end that, because it wouldn't be right for our supporters to miss a game. Whatever it is, we can't afford for this to happen. If it does, then it's totally on a minority of our support. It's as simple as that. Our support is incredible, where it travels and what it gives us. We just need to make sure we draw the line on that and just come with the banners and with that noise and colour, and that will give us a great chance on the field. So he later went on to say about the fans. The fans that bring the pyro and the fireworks into the games are only thinking of themselves and not the club. So some fans have said that they're pretty sure that Brendan Rodgers done the same thing when he done his midnight flip to Leicester City. So Andy, he wants the fans to think of the club and not themselves. Pyro at games, fireworks at games. He had it all to say today, so give us it.
It's the pot kettle black situation with Brendan and his words there, innit? It's, there are certain ways to say something. Pick your words very carefully. They can come back and haunt you. Whether you think he's right or wrong. Personally, I don't think it's up to the manager to come out and comment on this issue. I think it really puts him in a difficult position then with the fans, and it's going to split the fan base as it is. That's up to the man in charge, the man upstairs, to come out and put a statement out with that. Any questions put to a manager like that should just be binned away or batted away. It didn't have to answer it.
Yeah,
he chose to answer it, and it looked as if he's been well prepared to have a question like that flung at him. That's not something you just think out the top of your head, does it? That sounds like something that's well prepared. So he's obviously been aware that question is going to get asked. Is it a ploy for the club to let's get this question thrown in there and you and say it, so it's going to nip it in the bud? It can go either way. It could really go against Brendan, for obvious reasons. What the quote he's just come out with, because it's exactly what he done, was thinking about himself when he left the first time. And whether you think he's done a fantastic job, but these are realistic kind of comparisons that are going to come up. So if you're one of the fans, it does you. I think it looks good, right? I do think it looks good, but I've also seen videos of people say I'm going to fire and all that. So it's very dangerous to get people with a problem with their lungs and stuff like that are breathing it in. So I totally get that. Ideally, you hope you don't need it. You hope the fans are loud enough and they can create a better. I totally get that aspect here. I think words have got to be chosen very wisely. But if the manager, especially him, is going to come out and address this issue, I don't think he should have been in that position to do that.
Aye, well put again, Andy. And Paddy, I mean, his comments were pretty scathing today of the minority of fans, shall we say, that do bring pyrotechnics and fireworks to games. What's your overall thoughts on it, mate? And your thoughts on Brendan's comments today? You're muted, Paddy.
He was fairly scathing. There's no doubt about that. When he actually used the words that, he actually said that those that indulge in this kind of behaviour don't care about the club, they only care about themselves. So again, for me, it just shows that there is still an element of us, and myself included, where you have sort of forgiven and forgotten up to a point. But when it does come a time for him to come out with something like that, that's when you do sort of think, well, that's maybe a wee bit rich, Brendan. But as regards the subject itself, I can't say I disagree with him, because for me, the one that's awkward for me, because you see these fireworks in Italy and Spain and all over the place, and I don't know why it seems to be the Celtic and Rangers especially, why there's such a fuss made about the two Scottish clubs. I don't know. If you watch those big games all over Europe, you'll see them, you'll see the fireworks and the pyro at a lot of these games, and there doesn't seem to be a word from UEFA about it. You know, they seem to have got their bee in a bonnet about Celtic in particular. Again, my own view on it is, you know, yes, as Andy said, you know, when you're there and you see the display, but, you know, as somebody who takes a wee grandchild to the game with me, you know, I'm just obviously, I'm always scared, and I'm always conscious that, you know, some wee child could end up getting burned or getting blinded or whatever. It's dangerous. You know, there's no place for it inside the stadium. You know, unfortunately, that's just, it's not safe. You know, we all work in whatever industry we work in. There's health and safety at the top of your job. When you go in to do your job, whether you're in a factory or you're out on the road driving or what you're doing, there's health and safety in every aspect of it. And, you know, part of these modern day football stadiums, especially in Glasgow, the safety licenses that are issued to the clubs are issued based on health and safety. You know, so we can't keep doing this. We just can't keep. We're going around in circles here. And my own view on it is definitely they need to do something about it, because it is only a matter of time until somebody gets seriously injured or burned, or a child loses an eye or something, and then, you know, then there'll be a big crying match about it. You know, so need to do something about it. As regards to press conference today, I can't understand why Brendan just didn't say, "Listen, guys, I'm quite happy to talk about the team. I'm quite happy to talk about the game tomorrow. That subject and that particular thing has absolutely nothing to do with me. So we'll just move on if you're all right." You know, he didn't need to get involved in it. I mean, even Rangers the other day, that was left to the new guy up the stairs to talk about it. You know, so I think Brendan should have batted that one away, to be honest. You know, again, probably they get the questions before they go in, so they know what they're going to be asked. But for me, you know, he shouldn't have got involved in it. You know, he's there to manage the team. He's there to coach the players. He's there to look after the football side of it. That there is entirely 100% out of his control. He has no control over that. Can't influence that in any way. And listen, you see the guys who are breaching the rules about whatever. If they're not going to listen to Dermot Desmond, or they're not going to listen to Peter Lawwell, they're not going to listen to Brendan either. You know, so for me, he made a bit of a faux pas by even addressing it. He's actually drawn more attention to the issue by talking about it and being fairly controversial in his comments. So if I had been him, I would have just quietly said, "Listen, guys, we're here to talk about the game tomorrow and who's available, and I'm quite happy to talk about that, but we're not going to get into that." But as I say, my own view on it is it's dangerous. It's just, you know, it's an accident waiting to happen. So, you know, the guys need to knock it on the head.
Aye, spot on, mate. Especially if it's going to cost the club not just money, but fans not being away games, you know, as well. Yeah. And the fans are there to support the team, and if they're not in the stadium, then that's a negative straight away for the players. I think a couple of things there, just touching on what you and Andy have said. I think the question was set up because of his response. So I agree with Andy. You know, he had plenty of time to think about it and come up with an answer. But just to back Brendan a wee bit, I know he's been getting slaughtered by a lot of people, and myself included, on social media, because I think, you know, his midnight flit thing, he sort of was a bit contradictory there when he said that about his comments there. But he did say, why don't the fans do it outside the stadium? Yeah. And the club aren't going to get hammered then. So there's no reason why they can't have some sort of display outside the stadium. Just don't bring it into the stadium. Bring your songs, bring your banners, leave the pyro and the fireworks outside, lads. That's basically what he's saying. Yeah. So, Jerry, I don't know if you managed to see his press conference today. Like I said to Paddy and Andy, his comments were very scathing of the guys that bring the pyrotechnics and the fireworks into the stadium. What's your overall thoughts on it, mate? And I'm sure you've been to a few games yourself when it's happened.
Yeah, let's be honest. It looks amazing, doesn't it, in the night games and that, but listen, if it's dangerous, it's dangerous. Simple as that. I'm from, if it's going to be dangerous, don't do it. It's simple, innit? Picking up ban. It's going to be a stadium ban, or the away fans are going to get banned. Fines and fines have been going on now for ages, isn't it? So the ban's going to happen if it keeps going. The thing is, they respected Brendan Rodgers, talking Atlanta. I think we'll probably do it against Atlanta. I know, next week. But Rodgers, I'm with the boys in that one. Rodgers wanted to be worried about the fucking defence. See, they're worried about fucking fireworks. You know what I mean? Well, against Atalanta. He's got enough on his plate. I'm very, very surprised he won't get involved in that situation.
Yeah.
So I did. Very, as the boys said there, I was very surprised with that. But it's got to stop. It's been on too long now. We keep getting told about it. The fines, the wee fines. So it's got to stop. But what I would say is they're going to struggle with the Leipzig game, innit? Because that's November the 5th, Guy Fawkes night. So that's going to be a cracker. Fucking whole of Scotland will fireworks that night. So well.
They'll blame that in Celtic as well.
Don't forget it's my birthday.
You know what? It's a fairly simple one, guys. You know, it's, you know, I don't know. I just don't know. The atmosphere at the Champions League nights is off the scale without fireworks. Absolutely, but the atmosphere that night against Bratislava was absolutely amazing. You know, so there's nothing that we need to do, and we certainly don't need to be putting people in danger or taking risks and stuff like that. So, you know, it should be a no-brainer. It should be an absolute no-brainer. As I say, it's not safe. And they should be left to, as you say, they do the walks to the stadium sometimes from the Gallagate and stuff like that. And you know, that's a place for them. They want to do that outside and, you know, have a fireworks display on their way out the stadium or once they reach the stadium or whatever. But listen, UEFA are making it clear you're going to get hammered. And the thing for me, the biggest worry for me is, yes, these fines will all eventually mount up. Up to now, they're not too bad. You're only talking maybe 25, 30,000, whatever. But the biggest one for me, as I say, is the likes of Glasgow City Council. They're the body who issue the safety licenses for venues in their area. If that safety license was even revoked for one game, if that cost us a Champions League game, say we were told to play a Champions League game behind closed doors, look at the money that would cost the club. It's not the fine you'd be worrying about there. You could be worrying about you could lose a couple of million there. You know, and that's what quite easily could happen. I could see something like that happening, saying, listen, if you can't take your own supporters and look after them, then we'll do it for you. You know, so they could just revoke the safety license. Leipzig, we could be looking at a game with nobody in the stadium, and that could cost Celtic millions. So it should be a no-brainer, guys. It should be a no-brainer. They've had a good run. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. Yes, I've been there when I've been on the other side of the stadium looking at it, and it's amazing. You know, but as I say again, as a parent, as a grandparent who takes young children to the games as well, I'd be very conscious of, you know, if my young lad was standing behind that or in front of it, or some of that fell on top of him or whatever. To me, it's only a matter of time until somebody gets hurt, and that can't be. It has to be a health and safety priority.
Aye, and it's very simple, as the threes have just said there. It's either inside the stadium or outside the stadium. Very simple. We could be the best fans in the world at having the best firework display and pyro display outside the stadium. Why not do that? You know, why not do that? That's maybe something to look at. But aye, start screwing it up because it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us games in Europe, you know, away from home that people have paid money for and like to go and see the club, and it's not going to happen if this continues. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first two segments dealt with, and we're now going to move on to Andy's brand new one that he's got for us just now. So,
is that us on it already? You've caught us out short there, Scotty. Hold on, I'm trying to talk you into it quite. So you've got a couple of wee seconds to sort us out here. Aye,
so,
right, okay.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
Okay. Okay, so this is the voice. So it's a mystery voice. I've got four tonight. Mystery voice, and you basically need to tell us who it is. Who is the voice? Here is voice. He's ready. You ready? Aye.
Comments off.
Okay, here we go. Here is voice number 1.
All the best of stuff. So it's up to us to use it.
Don't shout it out, write it down.
Is that all we're getting?
Just get it once. Just once.
I'll tell you what. I'll play it 3 times, right? No more than 3. Okay.
Right. Just keep playing it down.
All the best of stuff. So it's up to us to use it.
Right.
You're going to need it again, Jerry. So this is the last time. Okay.
All the best of stuff. So it's up to us to use it.
I've got it now.
Write your answers down. You've all got an answer?
Yeah.
We've got an answer of sorts.
Right, Jerry, I'm going to go with you first.
Taylor. Taylor.
Yeah. Okay. Paddy?
Aye, same one. Greg Taylor.
Taylor.
You can see that. Greg Taylor.
And Scotty?
Greg Taylor, mate. I think Jerry went for Phil Taylor, so don't give him a point.
Aye, he done it. Yep. So,
I can't even Phil Taylor specs.
went for Taylor. And the voice is...
Get all the best of stuff. So it's up to us to use it.
Well done, boys.
Andy.
Well done. Well done.
Phil.
So, the three geese all go to it. Aye.
The
Excellent.
punters get that.
I think the comments are off, so we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see the comments because I'm in at the video stuff. So, and if you are looking at the comments, you're cheating, Jerry.
I can't see the comments.
Okay, you ready to hear his voice? Number 2.
With that bunch of guys, it was just something special.
Well, I've got that straight away.
Really? Oh. You just want another play?
Yeah,
So,
please.
Three, please.
Okay.
With that bunch of guys, it was just something special.
Oh,
maybe no. No, it didn't sound right there.
I've actually heard that interview.
Want me to play?
yeah.
Please.
With that bunch of guys, it was just something special.
Andy, is it any Celtic player?
Aye.
It's not just current Celtic players, is it?
No, just Celtic player
Yeah,
or
right.
anybody with a Celtic connection. So I'm not telling you it's a player. I'm not telling you it's a manager. It could be a manager. It could be a player. It could be a celebrity who's a Celtic supporter, but Celtic connection in there. I'm not telling you it's I'm just trying to elaborate kind of where we're going to go with this segment.
I've got it anyway. I'm
Right.
better than my ears or my eyes.
Right, okay, so name your plays if we all get answers.
No, nobody.
Nobody?
I have.
Right, let's start with you then. Let's start with you, Scotty.
Well, it's an Australian, so the only one I can think of is Ange.
Ange. Jerry?
Stan Petrov.
Stan Petrov.
I hope it's an Australian now.
Paddy?
No, nobody. Absolutely nobody.
Don't even want to take a guess, no?
No, I've actually heard that interview.
Who is it then?
No clue. No fucking clue.
Here is voice number 2.
With that bunch of guys, it was just something special.
Oh,
I was going to
What?
fucking say
Right,
him.
yeah.
yeah, me too.
He was Australian Croatian, but no, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not there.
Bastard.
I actually
I
heard
thought
him.
he
I've heard him doing that interview. That's why
Aye.
I couldn't find the name. I've heard him doing that interview.
I thought they were quite easy as well. I'm quite surprised with that. So.
Please, if you know them.
Dynamo Zagreb.
Yes.
Aye, that's right. Aye.
That's one of the best players I've seen at Celtic Park, Prozinski.
That's when it was Marco. It was Marco Viduka then.
That's it.
Aye. Here is voice. Here's voice number 3.
But they two combined,
What the fuck, man? Somebody's phone's beside the speakers, lads. You need to move your phone, whoever it is.
No mind.
Well, not me either. No.
Voice number 3. You want another play here?
Yes.
but they two combined,
I think I got it.
I thought that was quite easy, that one.
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Is another play required?
Yes.
Here we go.
But they two combined.
Right, Paddy, let's start with you. Let's see your answer.
Right, I think it's Charlie Mulgrew. You can see that there.
Charlie Mulgrew.
Charlie Mulgrew.
Jerry,
Right.
you get Mulgrew.
Hey,
Scotty?
I'll give him
we're
Charlie
cooking.
Mulgrew. Scott. I'll give him
Don't think
Mulgrew.
it is, but
The glasses.
And that voice is
But they two combined made me the penny drop.
It was the word combined that done it for me. As soon as he said
Yeah.
combined, I knew it was him.
I just watched that interview the other day as well.
Yeah.
Reggie, under the cosh. Aye.
Brilliant, mate.
He's good. He's good value. There's Charlie.
We need to try and get him on.
Aye. So you've all get that one right. Well done with that. This is a fourth and last voice. Here we go.
Get all the best of stuff.
I'm pressing the wrong one. Sorry.
That's what I said.
That was the first one.
I used to hate it going in, as a kid going into the dressing room.
Oh,
I've watched that one and all. Fucking watched that too.
I've got it in Andy.
Okay. Here's play number 2.
I used to hate it going in, as a kid going into the dressing room.
yeah, got it. Got it.
One more play, Scotty. One more play. Here we go.
I used to hate it going in, as a kid going into the dressing room.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we'll go back. We start with Jerry again. Jerry, shows your answer, mate.
Aiden McGeady.
Oh!
Scotty.
It's our Jackie Mack.
So it is Jackie Mack.
Me too.
So it is.
And Paddy.
Jackie Mack.
You,
On seeing Jackie McNamara.
Jackie Mack.
It's McNamara.
And that voice is.
I used to hate it going in, as a kid going into the dressing room.
Well done. Well done.
Brilliant.
So the winner there is. Where are we?
Got 3 each, me and Paddy, no? I think.
2 each. 2 each for you and Paddy.
I get 3.
No, you didn't. Didn't get
Greg
it.
Taylor, Charlie
Oh,
Mulgrew.
apologise. Aye, well, 3. Aye, sorry, 3. Aye, 3 each then.
Yep.
3 each, but I've not got a tiebreaker, so you will just need to have a square
Split the
go.
money.
And
Just split the money.
square go. The winner, whoever wins that, wins the.
I'll
Wins
give you
the
a tiebreaker, boys.
Sorry, come on, boy.
50 pence each.
Who's the name of the dog that found the World Cup? They're a tiebreaker.
Pickles.
Pickles.
It was Pickles, wasn't it?
Aye.
Aye.
Well done,
Sorry,
Andy.
guys. I just gave the answer there. I just fucked up the tiebreaker. I'm sorry.
Well done.
Brilliant.
So
Just before
that-
we move on to the Aberdeen preview for tomorrow, thanks very much for that, Andy, by the way. That was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant.
thanks, Andy.
Well done to everybody who got involved in that one. It's our Jerry's birthday on the 5th of November, so if Paul McFarlane would like to come on live and do a wee strip tease for our Jerry, that would be fantastic, mate, as a wee birthday present.
So
So
come on, I didn't get in that for my birthday.
we'll get Paul on for you next year, mate. I'm sure he'll do your turn. He'll give you a double strip tease, a private one and a public one.
Cassie Petrov, what?
Private.
Is that the answer come in?
Aye, I'm just going through the answers to the voice here because we never had a chance to put them up, so we'll just going through to see what the viewers are saying about that.
How did they get them on?
So you asked Petrov to dinner?
They do,
Charlie Mulgrew.
Couldn't think of any Australians.
Now, man.
Aye, I thought one of them was Calmac until I heard it the second time.
Aye. See, when I was making them up, I thought this is far too easy. But obviously, I know it because I'm doing it. But
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very big game tomorrow afternoon, and Celtic take on our title challengers at the minute, Aberdeen at Celtic Park. So let's just have a quick look at the SPFL table and see how close it really is. 12 goals of a difference, but on the same points. So after 7 games, both the teams are on maximum points. And Aberdeen are the only team in the whole of UEFA who have won every single game they've played this season, which is quite incredible. So let's just have a wee look. It's far too premature. Is it far too premature to talk about Jimmy Telling's Aberdeen as title contenders? But this match will be a fascinating marker of their progress after a run of 13 league and cup wins on the spin. The Dons have failed to beat Celtic in the last 25 attempts, the club's longest run ever without defeating the green and white half of Glasgow. Their last 3 trips to Celtic Park have ended 6-0, 5-0 and 4-0. So Paddy, your 3-0 will come on perfectly if that's your prediction for this one. So a competitive performance, never mind a positive result, would be progress. Aberdeen's start has been impressive, with Telling quickly implementing an attractive style while improving the players. But this will be the first game the Swede has faced for which his side are not the favourites, and so will be a test of his ability to adapt his tactics. Something he was effective at when in charge of Elfsborg in his homeland. Plus, some of Aberdeen's numbers, particularly how ruthless they have been in taking chances, could suggest they are performing relatively well at this point. Let's just have a look at the second part of that. So Aberdeen's numbers, particularly how ruthless they've been in taking chances, could suggest they are overperforming relatively to their general play. The club ranks 7th in the Premiership for shots on target per game, but top of the league when it comes to the rate of shots they get on target ending in goals. Whereas Celtic are only slightly less efficient, but while creating far more opportunities, which is why they have hit 22 goals in just 7 games. Brendan Rodgers' side have conceded 1 as well in their flawless start. So altogether, this is a different challenge for Jimmy Telling's Aberdeen side. Andy, how do you see this one going? It looks like Greg Taylor is out now until after the Atalanta game. It's good to see AJ, Carter Vickers and a few others back in training today. So give us your overall thoughts on how you think the game's going to go tomorrow and what's your starting 11 for the game, mate?
I'm expecting a Celtic win. I think it will be a test. I think it will be a test for both sides, to be honest with you. I think the closest test we've had domestically this season was against Falkirk, who's a league below. And I think, obviously Aberdeen's up there and deservedly so. They've got the results. I don't think they play great, fluent football, but they're very, very efficient on the counter-attack. And I think Jimmy Talon, is it Talon or Telling?
Telling.
He's obviously pinpointed players, he's brought them in, recruited them, and I think they've done really well. Also, he's got players that were kind of playing last season, but no, you've got players like Duke who kind of fell out the picture a wee bit. He seems to have come onto a good game this season. McGrath, I've always liked McGrath. I liked him last season and the season after that. He's somebody that just stuck out to me. I thought he was a fantastic player. He's went up a level again this season, that boy. They've brought in that, is it Palaversa and Keskinen, who look good as well. I think they're well drilled and kind of compact at times as well, but very quick on the break. I think we've got to be wary of that, depending on who's in our defence. I think when you look at it, defensively, we've been pretty sound this season. Apart from not domestically, but the game in Europe we don't want to talk about. We lost quite a few goals, but I think domestically we've been pretty sound. The defence has been good. I'm expecting an exciting game, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to quite put a prediction right now, Scotty. I'm going to have a wee think about that and maybe do that at the end of the show. But I'm fully expecting a Celtic win. I think we're a far better team, we're a far better squad. We turn up and play our game, I think we'll beat anybody that we come up against in this country. But then again, you've got to hear them respect, because they're up there and deservedly so. They're up there hanging on our coattails right up beside us with the points wise, and obviously the goal difference is separating us. So a game I'm really looking forward to.
Good man. And I will leave the predictions to the end then, Andy. That's a good call. And Paddy, I think the bonus about this game, I put it in the group chat a couple of hours ago. I watched a thing that some lads done on YouTube about Aberdeen's tactics. And as Andy said, they play a flat 4-2-3-1 and they transition off that, on and off the ball and sort of things. It was quite interesting to watch it. So this guy's not only got them set up well, but he's got them playing well as well. We pretty much, as Andy said, the same sort of players as they had last season. There's not much of a difference. They've got the big money in, obviously, from Majowski, so thankfully we don't have to face him tomorrow. But Brendan's had time over this international break to really have a good study at Aberdeen and how they play. How do you think Celtic are going to line up tomorrow, mate, with looking like only Greg Taylor out, really, from the starting 11? How do you see it going, mate, and what's your starting 11?
I think he'll be, for this one, Scott, I think he'll go back to the tried and test it. There's been a few guys away international duty, but by all accounts, they've had a good bit of training now towards the end of the week. I suppose the biggest question for me will be, is Carter Vickers going to be fit enough to actually start the game? I know Brendan likes players to have participated nearly in a good full week's training before they come back, so that will be interesting to see. Alex Valle coming in for Taylor is the obvious choice if Greg Taylor's not fit. So I can see him going with the tried and test it. So do you know what? If he has done his homework and he has been watching them, he will see a team that's absolutely bang on form. Aberdeen are benefiting at the minute from the change of manager. Sometimes that can happen. The same group of players with a few additions, but like he has them absolutely flying high. The one thing that I've noticed about them in the games that I've seen, or the highlights that I've seen, is they're a bit like ourselves. They like to get the ball forward as quickly as they can, and once they get up there, they get the ball in the box. They absolutely get the ball in the box. There's no dilly dally with them or whatever. They're very, very pacey on the counter attack, and when they get up to the final third, they put the ball in the box. They're not scared to put it in there. So we're going to have to be on guard. Again, the other thing about them I've noticed is they're a big, strong team again. One or two big physical players there, so they're going to be a threat at set pieces, corners, free kicks. So we're going to have to be careful around the edge of the box, not to be conceding too much, because that may be a part of their game plan as well. But the new manager coming in just has them flying, and I can see it's going to be a very difficult game. But it's great to see. It's great to see Aberdeen up there. Great to see a challenge there, and I honestly believe that. I know this has happened before with one or two other teams' Hearts for a period last year, but I honestly see Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen have a real good chance of splitting Celtic and Rangers this year. I think they have a real good shot at it. This will be a test of their credentials tomorrow. We'll see just exactly what they're made of. A lot of people have been, there's been a lot of people, Aberdeen-related people talking in the press and stuff, so I would just hope that Celtic players have, Celtic players haven't been saying very much. There's not been very much from Celtic at all. But there's been one or two comments from Aberdeen people saying, this is our time. So we'll see. We'll see. This will be the acid test for them. There was that statement there, that the information you read out there, Scotty, is actually sometimes they've actually scored. They've actually scored a lot of goals, and they haven't actually maybe looked good in a couple of games, but they've scored a lot of goals, which has kind of left a skewed scoreline. But there is absolutely no question that they're playing at the top of their form. They're confident. Again, when you look at the stats, they'll be keen to do something about that record. Ideally, they'll obviously try to win the game, but they'll be trying to get a positive performance and a positive result. But as I say, it's just at this stage of the season, it's if some of the two teams is going to win, somebody's unbeaten record is going to go tomorrow. But it's a big test for Aberdeen, a big test for Celtic, but it's a huge test for them as well. As I say, they've not really. They've not faced us yet or whatever, so it'll be interesting to see. But like Andy says, I'm expecting Celtic to to play their game. We focus on ourselves. We don't worry too much about Aberdeen. Obviously, Brendan will do his homework and stuff, but pound for pound, player for player in Scotland, if we turn up and we play our stuff, there's very few teams in Scotland going to be able to live with us. So we do what's worked for us so far this season. We play with that level of intensity. We get the ball wide. We create chances. We score goals, and that's what we've been doing. And if we turn up and play the way we can play tomorrow, it may not be a landslide, but I can see us getting the 3 points. But big test for Aberdeen too. Well, this will be a good test to see how far they come. The manager will be interested to see. He'll want to know at 5-5 the more even what way his side have gone. It's a yardstick for them.
Yeah, it certainly is, mate. And like you said there, I watched them. I've only watched them once this season, but it was against Hearts when they won the game 3-2. And they're grinding results out. They're no smashing teams. They're grinding results out, and that shows that they are a good team. Yeah. They're not individuals. They're actually a team, and that's something that they haven't got is like the one or two class individuals. The good teams have got. They're together and they're grinding these results out. Just having a look at Smell the Gloves team there, Jerry. I quite agree with that, to be honest with you. I don't see any differences that are going to happen tomorrow. I think Hatate might no start because, again, of his travel and no minutes for Japan that we spoke about on Wednesday. I think Bernardo will come in. He was at the press of the day as well. So I don't see any real diversion after that, teammate. Do you? And what's your thoughts on the game tomorrow?
The team Smell the Gloves go. It's a bang-on team for me. So it is. Yeah. Aberdeen's been doing well. So there are 13 wins out of 13, Scott. But this is the biggest test for them. If Aberdeen are serious league contenders, they need to come down and get points in Glasgow. That's simple as that. They'll not win a league title without getting points in Glasgow. But the thing for me is they've lost 34 of the last 36 games at Celtic Park. So they have Aberdeen. Yeah. So if it was Pittodrie tomorrow, I would think to myself, but I fancy Celtic, so I do tomorrow. Aberdeen are doing well, but the thing for me, Aberdeen should be up there every year.
Absolutely.
A big club. The support at Pittodrie should be sold out every home game and get them more money. As Andy was saying, they've signed that Tope Kinskinnon, the Finnish winger, for nearly £1 million. But many other players could go and get Pittodrie was full every week. Yeah. They've signed time I know, by the way, the St Johnstone goalkeeper. He was man of the match against Celtic a few times last year, that Dimitar Metov. Yeah. He's a cracking big goalie. So he has, and as Andy says about Duke up front, then that boy's at Pappy. He came back for loan. I don't know if he's injured or no. He scored 6 goals in 8 games. Boy Pappy up front. So I've got a lot of talent up front. So they have. So they've got a lot of, as Paddy says, they're quick going forward as well. But I think Celtic Park, 2-0 for me. That will be too strong. We just keep doing what we're doing now. You'll do well, Scott. So
2-0 for you.
Looking forward to it.
The one thing I will say too, Scott, is that the manager's actually been very clever. He's been very shrewd today. Again, and he's shown now that he's starting to understand how it works in terms of the media. He probably didn't get the media spotlight when he was in Elfsborg, but he's probably he probably realises being Aberdeen manager in the Premiership in Scotland, he's under a lot more scrutiny. But he made a wee comment there today to say that this game will not decide the outcome of the title. This is just another 3 points type of thing, and that's a wee method to try to take the pressure off his own players. And I think he's very clever in what he said. Like, he didn't come out and make any rash predictions or anything like that there. He just said, look, it's too early in the season. There's only 7 or 8 games, whatever it is, gone. This game will, whilst it's an important game, it's not going to be the be all and end all. And that's designed to take the pressure off his players. That's his way of, of just taking the pressure off his lads. He knows it's a big game. He knows they're going to be under pressure and he knows they're going to be under scrutiny, but he's just sort of putting that out there to say, listen, we're a work in progress and we'll see where we are at 5-5 the more evening. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, I think he's shown there, he's been very shrewd and very clever there, which is nice to see.
I think we like people that go about their business quietly and are humble in Scotland. We don't like these ones that come in shouting their mouth off and can he back it up, and he would get slaughtered if he'd done that.
Yeah.
So fair play to the guy that he has gone about his business that way. So Paddy, Jerry's gave us a 2-0. What's your prediction for the game tomorrow, mate?
I can see it being tight. I can actually see it being tight. And they're quick on the break, and they've one or two decent players there. I think they could give us bother, especially at set pieces. So I'll be quite happy to get the 3 points, but I'll go for 2-1. I'll go for 2-1 Celtic.
I've seen a lot of 2-1s bandied about today, and it seems to be the sort of popular scoreline that a lot of people are going with. What's your take on it? What's your prediction for the Mora, pal?
As much as I'm impressed with Aberdeen starting, they should be respected. Any team should we are starting at, because they're up there with us. I still think Celtic are too good. I'm going to go for Celtic 3, Aberdeen 1.
Dangerously close to my 3-0 there.
He was nicking your scoreline again there, Paddy. I thought he was going to get in there and steal it.
Yeah, I was going to say, another boy I've been quite impressed with, even at Livingston, and he's made his debut the other night for Scotland, Nicky Devlin. He's a steady 7-8 every week. He's a solid right back, that boy. I know he's about 30 now, but I was always impressed with him. So was it, even at Livingston. So was.
Yeah.
Aye, I'm actually going to steal somebody else's scoreline. I'm going to steal Randy's. I think Aberdeen will score. I think they've got enough about them to get a goal at Celtic Park tomorrow, but I do think that we're going to get 3.
I said that's going to be that player.
At least 3. So I think Celtic 3, Aberdeen 1 is the scoreline I'm going to go for. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our first maiden Friday focus show. We're going to get a wee hour out of it just to see how it went. Let us know in the comments, let us know on the community page, and let us know on our socials how you think that went. It's something that we're just going to start bringing in now on a Friday night. Andy, I'm going to hand it over to you. I know you've got some things that you want to speak about that we've got coming up, mate, so fire away.
Aye, can you get ready that comment for us, Scotty?
Certainly.
So this is a wee segment we're going to bring in pretty soon. We've got quite a few things planned. This is one of them. I'll play the intro and I'll explain it. So this is a Lindsay mastermind. So each panelist will pick a subject and they'll get questioned on it. So you'll get like a 2-minute timer or something. Fire as many questions and try and answer as many as you can for that preferred subject. So we'll all have a go, see how it goes, and we might even invite the viewers on to pick their subject and come on and do their wee bit as well. I think it'd be a good wee shout. If anybody fancied that, then let us know. Contact us. It sends a wee message on the YouTube, or get me on the socials. You can get me on Twitter on that thing there, and Scotty as well. And I don't know if I've got your
we're all in there. We're all in there, mate.
We're all there anyway. So if anybody's interested, give us a shout. But we're going to do the 4 of us first, and if Davey's on back on, we'll get him on as well. But I think it's a good wee segment to come up with. We'll try that out, see how it goes. But we've got loads of other things coming up as well, all different things. We'll spread it out over a period of time. We don't want to just hammer all our ideas out at one time. So this will be coming soon. We've also got the TikTok, as in TIC talk. So this will be just interviewing people, just telling us about their Celtic experience growing up and obviously through their life and influences it's had on them. I've got, happens to be my uncle writing off, but I think it's got to be a really good story. So I've got my uncle David Ferrier. He's going to come on, so we'll get that sorted. And I'm pretty sure we've all got somebody in mind that would be good for that. And then we can continue for that, see how that goes. But that'll be interesting. I think that will probably be a pre-record rather than go live. So that's something we can kind of put out sporadically, just as a wee additional thing than the normal live pods. But looking forward to that. It should be good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Got absolutely loads coming up, ladies and gentlemen. But doing loads behind the scenes. Like I said on the community post on YouTube, we're doing loads behind the scenes to make this podcast as amazing for you as we can do. We all work full time, the 4 of us on the pod. So we do give our spare time for you guys to try and make this better. You know, we do loads behind the scenes. We do loads on the show for you as well. It's all doing it all for free. giving our time up for free and all the rest of it. So the next show that we've got coming on is tomorrow after the game. I'll be doing the post-match show. The rest of the lads will be at the game. So please join me and help me along. I'll need your comments firing in straight after the full-time whistle. And hopefully we're celebrating Celtic winning the game and getting another 3 points and remaining top of the table. So last thing I've got to say is, Andy, Paddy, Jerry, thank you so much for your time tonight on our first Friday night show.
Pleasure.
And all the best to the boys tomorrow. And everybody stay safe. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, lads.